translations in later times, maybe, and where maybe not the best artist was available in the first place. This is an apse of a little church in Sardinia, with the Return Christ there at the top. And this example is from Catalonia, in southern and western Spain, which is now detached to the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, showing, as you see, the Return Christ with the symbols of the evangelists around it. It's an abbreviated version of the Last Judgment. And there's the figure of Christ, making the gesture of benediction and with the gospel book on his lap. But again, not terribly exciting artistically. The best example of 12th century painting that survives today is on the barrel vault of a church in central France. This is Saint-Sylvain-sur-Garfon. I will not ask you to remember the church. But it's what's called a hall church, with the nave about the same height as the aisles. Well, anyway, the barrel vault of the nave is clearly designed for paintings, and they're Old and New Testament subjects arranged obviously for teaching purposes. And the way that they are organized is this: you presumably under the instruction of a priest, you see the paintings, you go down one side to the other, and they do follow chronologically. And when you get to the end, you turn around and they go this way. So they're organized in a way which is convenient for their actual function. And well, here you can see them from below. Sorry, these yellow slides are taken in tungsten light that doesn't match the film that they were made with, but they're surprisingly engaging. Here's the building of the Tower of Babel, and you'll remember there's an explosion of building going all the way around everybody here in the first half of the 12th century, and they would certainly have identified with this, and the workers are bringing blocks of stone to the masons who are reaching out to put them where they belong. I noticed the way that the blocks sort of are heavy. They weigh down the people who are carrying them, and their skirts sort of swish behind them, giving a sense of motion as they move toward the building of the tower. This shows Noah's Ark, with Noah's family installed above, and then below, of course, the pairs of animals. I like the ship with that sort of uncertain-looking head there on its prow, and two of Noah's sons crawling out there, braving the weather to release the dove to see if it returns, which of course it ultimately does. But they also are shown with their garments responding to the weather. You can see one of his foot is dangling there as the skirt of his garment is blown by the wind. It's really very convincing, and we wish we had more 12th century wall painting to enjoy. But of course, art in books is much more durable, and by far the largest amount of art painting, especially that we have from the 12th century, is in manuscripts. This is a large page of what's called a folio. It's about this big. In the Morgan Library in New York, which shows episodes from the life of David. It was made in England, at Canterbury. For reasons we don't really know, some of the most important, highest quality books were made in monasteries in England. Well, at the top we see David killing the giant Goliath, with the details of contemporary armor very carefully observed, and cutting off his head. Below he's playing his harp for Saul, who is so overcome that he throws a spear at David. Not a very good way to show your appreciation, I have to say. And then at the right, the prophet Samuel anoints David as the next king of Judea, even though he's not in line for succession. Below, years later, Absalom, David's rebellious son, is killed by David's men when he gets his hair caught in the tree and is mourned there by his father, even though he is very undeserving. Now, in many ways, things haven't changed in the 150 years since Ottonian times. The interior is still just a kind of backdrop. We have little hillocks where